Okay, I'm going to talk about 4 things that's stopping you from experiencing consistent growth for your company month in and month out, year in and year out. If you're not watching this on my website right now, I'm the president and founder of Local Marketing Stars. We're the leading inbound lead generation company for merchant cash advance, business loan, and merchant processing industries. Over the years, we have generated millions of dollars in commissions and revenue for our clients. And every month, I talk to hundreds of business owners, and I dealt with thousands of them within the past 6 years. And after dealing with so many of them, I got to be an idiot not to see some patterns as to what will work. Some companies be super successful whilst the other fail. So I wanted to kind of gather my thoughts around 4 things that I can give it to you today that you can start applying in your business that will take you from where you are and help you experience sometimes really consistent growth, and some companies go wild with that and help them experience exponential growth. But there are 4 reasons why you're not there, you're not where you want to be in your company. Maybe you started a couple of years ago, you have a nice team of 5, 6 people, maybe 10 people, but when you look back to your original goals, have you hit your goals? Have you exceeded them? Or you kind of gave up on them because business is really difficult, and being in merchant cash advance and merchant processing industry doesn't really make it easy. It's a super competitive landscape, and you got to be up to date. You got to stay sharp all the time and be able to bring more deals in, right? But I'm going to talk about 4 reasons why what is really pulling you back. And no one's really talking about this. Everyone's talking about buying leads from certain places and doing more telemarketing, the direction of the industry and all that stuff, while there's an elephant in the room and we got to talk about it. Okay, so the step number 1 that I'm going to talk about is your online presence. Yes, I am biased. I'm an owner of a digital marketing agency. Of course, I'm going to recommend that your online presence is strong, but just hear me out. Let me build my case and let me give you reasons why that's the case. Okay, it's 2017. I'm actually surprised that I'm talking about this, but I have thousands of contacts on LinkedIn and our mailing list and whatnot. And what I see really disappoints me, that many of the companies who are in the business of selling merchant processing or merchant cash advance have really weak online presence. Their website has been updated maybe in early 2000s, and maybe they have a blog post from 2013, and their website is not mobile optimized. If you were to check it on your phone, and all the content will be all over the place, and you can't really tell what this company does. And I'm going to give you examples of why that's really important, because the counter argument to my argument would be someone saying, you know what, our website really is in bad shape, but we're doing great in sales. So why would we invest in building our website or maintaining our website? Because we're killing it here with telemarketing or other means of generating leads. I understand that, but don't forget that times have changed. And if you don't adjust to change, you die. That's how nature works. And business is the same way, especially when you are in this industry that's getting more and more competitive. You've got to sharpen your tools constantly. And do not think that your website is only necessary for someone to find you. You get inbound leads that way and you convert it into a deal. Yes, that works fine. But when you're in a competitive situation where you're talking to a merchant and you're trying to secure a loan of maybe a high volume, like $100,000 or more, do not be mistaken that that merchant will do their due diligence. They're going to go online and check you versus a couple of the other big guys. And guess what will happen? The big guys have more content. Their website looks really healthy, and they have a lot more references and testimonials. Whereas yours, you don't have any of that. You might lose that deal, and that's an indirect way of your online presence helping you or damaging your reputation. And a lot of times, you will not even be aware of why you lost that merchant, why they did not sign up with you, because accessing information right now is really, really easy. Even people who are not really online savvy are savvy enough to go to Google and ask about you. And if they don't see anything at all, or what they see doesn't make them feel cozy and comfortable about your company, you're going to lose that deal. And you're going to see more of that happening. That's why number 1 is you got to have a working website. Your website needs to be optimized. Your website needs to have certain features enabled in it. So it not only allows you to track your visitors and collect enough data to make sense out of that. Where are they coming from? How much time they're spending on the website? What pages are they really visiting? What point do you lose them? Do they check out the content that you have? how do you look on Google? Have you ever like searched your name on Google? If you do, just do that and find out what Google pulls for you. Like I check out companies and they have 2 stars on their reputation because 2 angry customers decided to leave a negative comment, and their Google page is not owned by them. They had not claimed their Google page. So Google doesn't even know if this business is still around. So you cannot let that happen to your online reputation. I'm sure for every 2 negative customers, you probably have 50, 60 really happy customers. You got to leverage that, okay? Because you have 2 audiences. One audience is the people pretty much who's looking for your services, looking for a credit card processing company or business loan. The second audience is the search engines, Google, Yahoo, Bing, and all the other online directories. You got to keep them happy too, because if they do not understand what it is that you do, and if they don't know whether you're still around or not, they're not going to support you. They're not going to support your case. You got to make them your friend. In order to make them your friend, you got to follow the rules that they laid out, because they are making the rules. They're the dominant force in this industry that will decide whether you look good on your customer or you look really bad. So for that reason, your website has real importance. Now, the second part that's more direct, these are all the indirect ways your website is impacting your presence. More direct is your search results. If someone is looking for a working capital loan, do you come up on Google? If you do not, why is that? Well, your answer might be, well, that's not going to work. I'm competing against companies who are spending maybe $500,000 a month to be on top of Google. I understand that. I very well know the industry and I know how much they all spend, but that should not discourage you because the search volume is really, really high. In the beginning of 2017, the search volume for any type of business loan were over 350,000 searches. Now we're approaching 500,000, and by the end of 2018, that number is going to probably go over 500,000 searches per month. And that searches are being handled by a handful of companies who are investing in their online marketing, on their search engine optimization, where they show up on the search engine records. You might not make it to page 1 of Google, but even if you land on page 2 or 3 for certain keywords, believe me, that will be enough to feed your company, because there is just a humongous amount of search online. So you got to do that. The way you do that is there's so many different strategies. It's like a 15-step process. This video is not about this. I'm not going to go through how you kind of dominate the search engines for the keywords that you're looking for, but it's really, really important that you start from one place, and that one place is having a real website. You cannot have a one-page website, or you cannot have a landing page hoping that some people will come in and fill out a full application on your website. Please do not put a full application on your website. No one is going to fill that out. Unless you pre-frame, you talk to them, then you can send them over to your website to fill out the application. But do you really think that someone is going to come in and just without really knowing who you are and fill out a 3-page application and submit it to you with their bank statements and whatnot? Like, that's not going to work, okay? You got to get smaller commitments from your customers so they feel cozy about you, that they can give you bigger commitments. Usually the small one is get an email address from them, do a follow-up, then ask for the phone number, or have them fill out a short form, like 6-7 questions max, so they just get themselves qualified about what they can be funded for. If you're in merchant processing, in order for you to give them a rate, have them fill out a quick form. So those are important things, and make sure that you have a live chat option on your website. So someone lands, they're going to have questions, and if the first person answers those questions has the biggest chance of earning that customer. So that's number 1. Number 2 is how you manage data. So the first one is about your online presence, your social media channels. And I understand that you could be saying, how in the world am I going to manage all of this? I'm not a designer. I'm not a social media manager. I don't understand how Google works. I don't understand how Yahoo works. That's why you need to either hire someone in-house or you hire someone outside who handles that. And this is not a plug for our services, but that's what we do, okay? So if you don't have a website, that's a starting point. We built so many of them in the industry, specific industry you're in right now, merchant cash advance and merchant processing. You need to get that done. Number 2 is how you manage data. Managing data is really important. Many of you guys are purchasing data right and left, like thousands of them, but what happens to them is really scary. Someone dials it out and they get what they get, and data is either good, bad, or indifferent. It just stays somewhere. There's no follow-up process for that data. You got to have a hub for your data. I talked about this in one of my earlier videos. Maybe you have a CRM system or a place where you hold the data, you create a follow-up system, because if someone is not ready to get a loan from you, that doesn't mean they will never be ready to get a loan from you. Or someone that doesn't want to change their processing right now doesn't mean they will never want to change the processing right now. So how you manage that data is gold mine. No matter how bad it is or how low quality it is, there is still gold in there. Don't forget that 3% of the market is always ready to buy something from you. Whatever industry that you're in, 3% of the market is ready to buy right now. So it's a matter of finding out what that 3% is. It just happens to be a really, really large amount of clients for the merchant cash advance and merchant processing industry. Number 3 is you have to diversify your lead generation. You cannot rely on your call center in the Philippines. You cannot rely on your guys on the field. Growing really fast can be as dangerous as not growing enough. So I see companies who hire massive amount of people and put them on the floor, put them on the phone, and that's the only way they generate leads. And when they leave at 5 o'clock, your entire lead generation is gone. So if that's your way of growing, that's very dangerous, okay? That's very dangerous. So you gotta have multiple ways of lead generation feeding into your funnel. And one could be SEO, the other could be social media channels, the other could be paid advertising, the other could be telemarketing. So once you sustain all of them, even if one of them fails, if your A player quits on you and they take a bunch of team members because they think they can do a better job than you do, your company's not is going under. You have other sources to feed until you pick up where you left off and you build another team. That's the only way to sustain your growth. And also different lead sources, different offers. I don't want you to offer 10 different products, but if you're selling merchant cash advance, if someone is a better fit for another type of loan, why not offer that? If someone they just started out, they've been around for 6-7 months, they're not a good fit for the loans that you're offering, why not offer them, other services that where you can make a commission of? You might not sell all of that, but you might find partners who's going to pay you a commission on that, right? The last part is the sales process. It's so important. The industry that you're in right now is highly sales oriented. Of course, any company, any business needs sales to survive, but primarily merchant cash advance and merchant processing, you got to have hot leads coming in. You got to have a full pipeline all the time to be able to operate and grow your company, right? And for that, a lot of companies focusing on the front end. What I can close today, they don't really have a system to kind of build up what they can close tomorrow. They don't really work on building future customers. Let's not forget that you make your money on renewals, not the front end. Front end goes to marketing, your staff, your admin stuff, your rent, and all that stuff. But when they renew, that's when you're really making profits. But you got to have a system for them to renew. You got to have a system to build your referral partners. You got to have a system to build ISOs to sell on your behalf. You got to create an attractive environment enough for people to come to you. They want to work for you. They want to sell for you. And sales process, sales automation is really important. I can't tell you how many times I talk to companies. They think they have a sales process because they laid it out on a paper. They had a meeting, they have a CRM system, the process exists on paper or on their system. But when it comes to application of that through their salespeople, it's not really working properly. Like you can't have a system and not being used. So if either your salespeople are not sold on that, or there's something wrong with it, it's not really working, or you're not being a good manager and following up and making sure they get it done, right? I told you this was going to be a really direct recording. I don't want to take a lot of time, but your sales process is really, really important. If you don't have a sales process, if you feel like you're not in control of your entire sales process, I have news for you. You don't have to rely on your salesperson 100%. Your sales staff, they want to sell all the time. But when it comes to doing follow-up, when it comes to doing drip campaigns or nurture campaigns, they're really bad at it. They're not going to probably do a lot of follow-up. But if you automate that process, or if you have put the right structure in place, you can manage them really well without just buying into what they tell you, okay? So that's the last part. And finally, if any of these interest you, and if you find yourself lacking in any of those categories, contact us. You go to our website, localmarketingstars.com, and schedule an appointment with one of our representatives, maybe one with me. Then we can discuss where you are right now to see if we can help you out. We only take 3-4 clients per month, and we help them with their sales process, online marketing, search engine optimization, and generating inbound hot leads right away. So if that's you, stay in touch, and we'll talk soon. Take care now. Bye-bye.